Renzo, there's a lot of people that have said over the last few years that Matt Hughes has kind of fallen off a little bit. Would your strategy for fighting him be different in 2003, 2002, as opposed to today?
I do believe I would have to be in a much better shape. On those years, he was really flying. You know, he was able to get himself in a spot that was ahead of everybody else. That's why physically and emotionally he was very strong. You know, of course, a fighter, every time a fighter suffers a defeat, he changes. You know, like when he gets tired to the point that he can't continue, or when he gets knocked out, that plays with their head a lot, especially with their confidence. And a lot of times, this sport is all about confidence. You know, like it's about believing that you're gonna do it. You know, so I've seen guys very mediocre in terms of technique being able to beat very good guys because they believe they could do it. So for sure, he had to be a different. But you have to understand, I train to fight anyone. I mean, in my conception, I'm fighting that guy in 2003, 2004. You know?
How much it truly did to do the fight at Madison Square Garden. And Goldberg, do the best commentator in MMA, I have to say.
Thank you very much, Drew.
Thank you very much, my friend.
I was glad today you thought, oh, he's going to be the one driving. I said, nice.
Thank you, Renzo. Thank you.
I really am looking forward to this. I think one of the main reasons I'm actually coming back, it's because I live my school is 1 block away from Madison Square Garden. I'm going to warm up in there and fight. How could it be better, you know? So the reality, I'm looking forward to see that. And it's just a matter of time. I don't see, you know, like I think the information is out there. Ignorance should be put to the side. And, you know, they should acknowledge that we are a great sport and we are athletes and good professionals, and they should accept us, you know. Everybody else did.
I'm thinking about that show right now, and usually, you know, it's like inside the locker room of Renzo, instead of the meeting, Insiders Academy, 3 blocks down. Renzo Gracie, final preparation.
That's how
and here he comes! Here he comes!
Okay, go.
Dodging pizza trucks and stuff and running in.
I just want to get your opinion about certain fighters who are almost insistent and say that they will not fight someone else who's either in their camp or one of their friends. And Dana White's been pretty vocal about, well, that's just kind of garbage, and you know, and how you're gonna find out who's the best, or what cuts and what that. But what's your opinion about that? You know, somebody's like, I'm just not gonna fight Rashad, or
yeah, in reality, I'm not gonna fight Rashad, by the way. I like him a lot, but the reality is a lot of times they grew up together. You know, like and this is a conception that came from Jiu-Jitsu too. Like I remember growing up, we never fought our brothers or cousins. Like we belonged to the same team, we went all the way up. So when we get 1 year, the national champion was me, the next year was Hoyler, the next year was Helium. So we are the same weight, everybody was 145. So we fought to say, last year was me, this year is yours. So we would get to the final, we would like begin on each end of the bracket. When we meet in the final, we decide. And sometimes when both had a victory already, throw a coin, you know. But and this actually, because was a very small branch back then, and Jiu-Jitsu, like I knew everybody. For you to have an idea, that was when I moved to America, there was not one black belt in Jiu-Jitsu that I did not know. You asked me about, what about this guy? I tell you, he came from this guy, from this guy, from this guy. So I knew exactly the whole English. Now the sport grew a lot. You go in California in a Jiu-Jitsu competition, it's 2,500 athletes competing. I walked in there 4 years ago. The guy got a black belt in 4 or 5 years. So I walk in, it's kids that I never seen before in my life. You know, like I've been living here for 14. We're talking about 3 generations of black belts already since I moved here. But this carry a little bit towards the MMA. But I think it's changing. That's what I'm saying. The MMA now that we have, the UFC and all those events are bringing this to an evolution. And it's professional. You know, I remember when I was a young kid reading Spartacus, and I remember Spartacus was the leader of the slaves, and when he went to the gladiator house, like he wanted to be friends with everybody, but nobody wanted to be friends with him, because he goes, well, why you don't want to be my friend? He goes, because I may have to kill you tomorrow. He goes, that's fine, you kill me tomorrow, but there's, you know, and I embrace that. And I remember, now you have Spartacus on TV, right?
Absolutely.
A little dirty. Only if you're over 18, by the way. You cannot watch. But basically the book was unbelievable in that sense, because I remember, like, and this had a huge influence on me, the fact that I don't care if we're gonna fight tomorrow. We can still live socially and interact, and maybe push each other forward to one day we fight. And it was funny because I always knew I was gonna fight Matt Hughes. I always knew it. And one time we were in Abu Dhabi after a competition, and he came to me, Renzo, if you want to train a little, because I was in the final, he goes, if you want to train, if you want to use me as a dummy, and I remember I hit him, I said, oh, I'll let you know. But the reason why I didn't get him to train with me, and I'm going to be honest, it's because I knew one day I was going to fight him. I said, one day fate is going to put us to crossback. And I'm going to be honest, if I accept that day to roll him, I'll be cheating. Because every time I roll with someone, especially back then, he was very naive. He was a young kid coming up. And I was in a different level. When I roll with someone, there was people that I roll with, and when I roll with them, I don't finish them the first time. On the second time, like it just happened last week, I finished the guy 10 times in 10 minutes. With a break of 1 minute in the middle. Because the moment that I study a game, it becomes unfair. Because at the same time, the guy is just fighting me. He's not studying. I'm studying everything that he does. And how he does, where he's strong, where he's not. And a lot of times I put him across side, I put him mount and see how. So right away I know everywhere where the danger is, the risks are. So that's the reason I didn't take the training session with him. I said it's going to be unfair the day that we fight. So I kept like this. So it's a surprise box. Can I beat him? I don't know.